everybody, and welcome to the post-deadline day transfer show. We're looking at some of the best deals that happened, not just on deadline day, but throughout the window. Who had the best transfer window in the Premier League? Was it Liverpool? Was it Manchester United? Was it someone else like Arsenal? We're going to get into all of that, and obviously the big drama of the day, Marc Guéhi, who everything seemed done. We had the here we go from Fabrizio Romano, and heartbreakingly for a Liverpool fan, Marc Guéhi and basically anyone around Liverpool involved, the deal collapsed because Igor decided that he wanted to go to West Ham instead of Crystal Palace, which was, we'll start there, it was upsetting, you know. You hear all the good news. Isak earlier in the day, which we'll get onto, but Marc Guéhi, it looks like it's done. We're almost there. And then Igor's not happy with his playing minutes. In my opinion, Glasner obviously threw his toys out the pram, which he has an entitlement to do. But I wonder, did he tank the deal slightly? There's all these talks about him going to Bayern Munich. He might be going to Manchester United if Ruben Amorim gets the sack. So does he want to keep Guéhi around to make himself have the most impressive season that he can possibly have in potentially his last year at Crystal Palace? Well, Marc Guéhi, we're yet to hear his official statement, but one seems to be coming out. And it's just sad, really, because I think it would have been a very good move for Liverpool. Look, we might still get him on the cheap in January. I think that will be the way that we should go. We clearly want centre-back depth this year. Leone is going to have to do, as well as Gomez, who didn't go to AC Milan, Canate and Van Dijk. So, not the most centre-back depth, but other than that, a very, very good transfer window for Liverpool. Alexander Isak, of course, making it seem all that little bit more complete. 125 million plus, I hear 5 million of his own salary, his own money, his own bonus, whatever it was, to complete the fee. That's just what you want to hear. He got his way out of Newcastle. Not for the 150 million that they wanted, but that's how negotiations go. Anyone who thought that he will go straight for 150 million wasn't really thinking. Yes, he forced his way out. Yes, it was a little bit ugly. The complete opposite of Guéhi, who had been honourable the whole way through. But that's football sometimes. And Wissa done the exact same thing. So Newcastle fans, I hear you complaining, calling him a rat and all of this. But your club benefited from the exact same thing with Johan Wissa. So, not really much to complain about. Have you really got... Look, you got a lot of money. He wasn't born in Newcastle, as far as I'm aware. Isak isn't from Tyneside. You didn't make him. He was a great player before you. Great player after you. We'll have to see what happens. But, yeah, Newcastle, we'll talk about them briefly. Not a great window. Some good things, but not the window I think that they would have hoped for. But looking at a window that was positive, one that I thought was going to be an absolute stinker, I think everyone did, after Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comments about Manchester United and their transfer issues that they may have. They have no money in the bank. Well, they splash money on the attackers. And the attackers, a brand new front three, finally got one of them firing on the weekend against Burnley. And Buemo, who does look the sharpest of the three. Cunha, obviously injured, and Sesko, limited minutes. So it's too soon to really tell how it's going to all play out with him. But yeah, Manchester United didn't get the midfielder I think they needed. And look, they wanted Emi Martinez. That fell through. I think that's good for Villa because they didn't have a replacement ready. But look, Le Mans, he could be good, but personally, I think that's another unproven one. Just like Onana was kind of a little bit of a risk. Yes, I know he had his Inter Milan run, but a little bit of a risk. And again, the risk coming in again with Le Mans here. So we're going to have to see how that one plays out for Man U. But look, they've got great attackers. But they're missing that centre mid. And they're missing that goalkeeper that they really needed. Every Man United fan said it. And therefore, the issues that they've had in the first 3 games are very, very likely to continue. Manchester City, on the other end, did get their goalkeeper, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Whew. That spells trouble. I mean, Trafford, look, didn't have a great game against Tottenham. Still a very, very good goalkeeper. Now the fact that he's a backup to arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You've got Alisson, in my opinion, is the best. But there may be red tinted glasses on that. And Gianluigi Donnarumma is definitely up there with another goalkeeper that could be considered as the best. So yeah, Man City, that's a big statement, a big part to add to their game, and a pretty good one. The question then remains, who has had the best transfer window? Was it Liverpool? Was it Man U? Was it City? Was it Arsenal? We didn't really talk about Arsenal because their deadline day deals, there wasn't much there. I mean, they had, Mosquera looked good against Liverpool. He was solid at the back when Saliba went off injured. Eze, great signing. Gyökeres, for me, he doesn't seem like he is it. I don't think he's got that complete package. He will do really well, maybe, at beating teams like Leeds and maybe your Brightons and other teams that you can get on the transition and the counter. However, against the top teams, I do think he's going to struggle. Against teams that are going to sit in as well deep, there may be a struggle too, as his game is really in that transition. And I mean, look, Konate hadn't had a great start to the season. He was absolutely excellent against Gyökeres. Was that Gyökeres not offering enough, or was that Konate just playing really well? Well, we'll have to wait and see. We are only 3 games into the season, so plenty more football to watch before we can actually judge and know how he is doing. So yeah, for me, you've got Arsenal, great window. Manchester United, considering their position, great window. We haven't even talked about Tottenham. Kolo Muani, is he? Look, he's an improvement in my opinion on Solanke. Is he an improvement on Richarlison's early form? I'm not sure, but there's certainly competition there. So, it's interesting for Tottenham to see. Bringing in Xavi Simons as well just before the window closed. Very good signings. Look, I beat around the bush and I talk, but for me, the best window, I mean, if you're looking anywhere else other than Liverpool, they spent, I believe, in terms of just spent, not net spend, but the most. So you'd expect it to be the biggest, but you've seen the likes of Florian Wirtz, broken transfer record, and then Isak, a second broken transfer record. You've got Hugo Ekitike, who's coming in, which gives us great attacking depth. The attack is there. It's sorted, isn't it? You can't look at that and say they need this or that, and there's no excuses around that. We should be getting goals left, right, and centre. The defence is the only blemish. Is it Liverpool's fault that they didn't get Marc Guéhi done? Well, you shouldn't have left it to the transfer deadline day, or maybe had another person lined up. However, it was the man that we wanted. We still want, it's that rigid transfer structure, which is why I'm not going to mark them down on it because, excuse the pun, Mark, because they're not going to bring in someone that isn't seen as the future. And Marc Guéhi is clearly seen as someone who can have a big impact on the future of Liverpool. So why bring in someone who's going to have no impact on the future of Liverpool when they get replaced by Guéhi in 6 months or 12 months' time? It's heavily reported that Guéhi wants Liverpool, whether it's a free agent or a transfer fee. We know that. So yeah, for me, Liverpool were the winners. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Who was the best team in the transfer window? Who has won that? And, who will win the Premier League? It's all yet to be seen. Yeah, if you're new, make sure you drop a like, drop a comment. And I'll see you all in another one. Make sure you subscribe and hit them notifications. Goodbye.